Biggest story out of the Middle East happened just a few days ago when the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, went on this massive power purge. About a dozen other princes of the royal family, about half a dozen ministers have all been arrested or detained. What was the rationale for this? Ostensibly, on the face of it, this is a massive anti-corruption purge. The argument from the government, from the royal family side, is that all of these other princes, the ministers, they were all involved in activities that were detrimental to the interests of the kingdom. Now, that's what they've said officially, but the real reason is that this was just a power purge. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is sending out a message to all the other members of the royal family that he is the big boss and he's going to be around for a while. Now, what implications could this possibly have for the wider region? The one single factor that's shaped events through the Middle East, through the last 30 years, is this rivalry between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Now, many say it's a Shia-Sunni rivalry, but more than that, it's simply a rivalry to see who's more powerful, whose writ runs wider and larger in the entire region. So look at the biggest problems in the Middle East right now. Syria is essentially a fight between Iran and Saudi Arabia. The Iranians have backed Bashar al-Assad, the longtime president, the Saudis backing the rebels there. That's why the mess in Syria. You look at Yemen. The previous president, the long-term president of Yemen, President Salah, was backed by the Saudis. The Houthi rebels, who are Shias, are backed by Iran. You look at Lebanon. The Lebanese prime minister, who is an appointee of Saudi Arabia, was asked to resign just a couple of days before this whole purge happened in Saudi Arabia, while he was on an official visit to Saudi Arabia. And in Lebanon, everybody knows that the Hezbollah is backed by Iran. And what could this potentially mean for India? Most important thing would be oil prices. Already in the last few days, oil prices have gone from the $50 a barrel range to the $60 a barrel range. Now, is this just a temporary phenomena? Is this just a temporary shock? Or will this continue to be the new normal for the next few weeks and months? That, of course, will have a huge bearing on India's import bill. Remember, India's import bill, 70% of it is crude oil, and India's largest supplier of crude oil is Saudi Arabia. So that's one big factor. The other big factor, of course, are the 15 lakh expatriates, Indian expatriates, who live and work in Saudi Arabia. So if this period of political uncertainty and this palace intrigue, as it were to continue for weeks and months, then that would mean a rather unstable environment for many of those lakhs of Indian expat workers who are working in Saudi Arabia.